Thank God for update. But anyways, hey, what's going on, folks? We are here, 3BG at the movies, where we are talking about any movie, Rental Family. Now Sue has said this from jump. He doesn't watch trailers. I watched the trailer and I was instantly like, I want to watch this because number one, I like Brendan Fraser. I think he's a very solid actor to me. Um, and he's been on this sort of comeback ever since he did The Whale and stuff, and he's really been out there. I mean, look, if you've followed Brendan Fraser's career, he's always been a solid actor, like dramatic roles and everything. So when I saw the trailer for this,
he's got another Mummy movie coming up, I think.
Yeah, apparently they're in the talks with that, which is cool. But like when I saw the trailer for this movie and I saw he was in it, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. And the premise, like, it gave me pause until I saw who was directing this. I was like, oh, white guy in Japan movie. Oh boy.
See,
that was my initial.
When I heard, I know that was your initial thought. That was also that was also our other co-host's initial thought too. Like, I get it, and I totally get it. Every time you hear about any movie in Japan, it's always white guy, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard what the premise of the movie was, without seeing the trailer, I just knew that Brendan Fraser was in it. My first thought was, okay, how much of this movie was actually filmed in Japan? When I saw who the director was, I said, okay, yeah, this is about to be 100% shot on site. So, all right, let's see how let's unpack this thing and see how it goes. And my God,
look,
I love me. I'm just gonna say it. Yes, I'm biased because I lived there. I love this movie.
I will say this. So, Misuyo Miyazaki, she goes by Hikari as a director, but like when I saw who was directing it, because who directs it dictates whether a movie goes in a certain direction. This might be a hot take. I feel if it was an American director doing this film, a lot of the tropes and story elements that would happen in this scenario, and I think that's why I was kind of like, oh boy, I already know where the fuck this movie's going.
When I saw the director, the Hollywoodness would have taken over.
Yeah. So there's story beats when you get these sort of fish out of water movies about a person, American, living in Japan, and it's wacky Japan and just all that stuff, right? What I like about what Hikari did in this film is that she bucked all the fucking tropes that you would think of in a scenario. What she did was she's telling the story of a guy, an actor who, much like Americans in his situation of being in the entertainment industry, he's found himself trying to break out in the entertainment industry, and he landed being in Japan, and he's trying to find a way to break into bigger roles so he can, whatever and stuff. So when you see that on the front end, you're like, all right, cool. But then when they start peeling back the layers of his character and how he got to be in the position that it is and what, netted them, it's like, oh, this movie is really going for something different and unique.
You learn about so the movie does kind of, I don't want to say poke fun, but it's like, hey, there are like a vast ocean of services that Japan has. Some of them you more than likely have never even heard of. You wouldn't even think that this sort of thing would even exist. And given the fact that Brendan Fraser's character, he plays, he goes from like you said, being an actor, trying to break out, trying to get his big break overseas acting, by the way, which I will tell you is brutally competitive.
Oh yeah, that's something the movie does a good job of, is showing, and it's mainly in like conversations with his agents on how hey, keep doing what you're doing, and that's what makes it interesting, is that you see the background stuff. He's been doing commercials, which this movie shows the commercial.
Like you go from doing commercials to bit roles in like Japan only movies and stuff like that, and that sort of thing. I have a friend. he and I, we actually made a short film together. You should check it out, Guy Kokogen on YouTube. Shameless plug. Um, but
Message.
no, but no. In all seriousness, you should check it out. But I have a friend, and I relate. I relate to him on this because I was like, dude, this. I felt like I was watching a part of your life, before you ended up settling down. But you were taking roles like this,
Mhm.
and so, anyways, he what he thought he ends up going for a role that he thought was a like a movie role, but he comes to find out he got mixed up in a service for a small company. They provide feelings for like
Experiences.
experiences for people. People that want to experience like things that they believe that they'll either never get to experience, or things that can never happen to them because of like various stigmas and and other things that
Yeah.
can that would make it so that it would never happen. So when he gets thrown into this, he's hired to do this type of work, and he's struggling for a little bit, but eventually he gets a role where he has to play a father. Now he doesn't have kids,
Yeah.
never had, he's never had kids a day in his life, but he becomes attached to this mother daughter situation,
Yeah.
and so much so that when the opportunity of a lifetime came for him, he he said, "Yeah, deuces on that one.
And
I
and
made a promise, and I got to stick to this job right now."
and to your and that's the thing. Like, 'cause I really feel people should watch this film, but like, and that's not really a big spoiler, honestly. And that's what I mean by like the movie bucks sort of what you expect, because you would think that subplot would be the big. If it was any other director, that right there with him trying to get the big role, that would have been the big plot point of the film.
Yeah, this
But it
happens
doesn't.
way early on.
We're talking like 20 minutes into the movie that happens, and you're like, and I think that's where that was my second part of where I was like, oh, this film's doing something different, because
Mhm.
like when you bring up the whole aspect of Japan having so many of these things, the idea of a rental family feels like that's a real thing in a way. Um,
And I can say that, yeah, I imagine that this isn't too far from being a real thing because you can. I mean, Japan does have a service where you can rent a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
which I mean, you can kind of sort of do it here, but
You
it's
can, but like
very weird situation here. Um,
things get weird when
it's very murky
when
here,
we try
but
to
no,
do
but
it.
no, but that's what I like about it, because him being doing this rental family service, like one of the guys, his boss, what was it, Takahiro Hira, he plays his boss, and he's like the guy that owns the company, and he's just like, hey, I'm just building an experience for people. These are things that are going to bring happiness to people, bring a sense of peace and stuff. And you're like, okay, because, and again, if you're an American seeing something like this, it's definitely going to be kind of like, well, that's weird, but like Sue, since you've been in Japan, like that's just like, all right, that's another day in and why, like, all right, that makes sense. But I think also too, what works for this film, because it's in Japan, the movie actually shows reverence to that culture. Like, yes, it's
Mhm.
very weird, but this is something that's just part of the culture, and you're kind of getting sort of like what that means for that culture. How big of a
Yeah,
deal it is, even down to how he has to be a father to this girl to get her into the school. And I think you nudged me like, yeah, that's kind of pretty much how these schools operate
a
with
lot of them,
kids. It's
especially
like, oh
like the big
shit.
prestigious ones. When like whenever, especially like families, whenever they try to get children into like get their children into like top schools and the not just in the country, like it'll go as far as like the top school in the city or the top
Yeah.
school in their prefecture or whatever. There's a lot of really unnecessary pressure that's put on them. I mean, the the people that's interviewing, they want to see both the mother and father, and
And that's
I'm like,
something that's like wow to me, because it's like the whole movie. That's kind of funny. Like you being in Japan, I was like, so how real is this? And you're like, no, that's legit. That's legit. Yeah, that's
yep.
legit. That happens. Yeah, yeah. Even that again, the commercial that they show his character Philip does.
It was a
I've seen
toothpaste
Japanese commercials, so
commercial.
automatically I'm in the zone. Like, this is accurate. Holy shit, is this fucking accurate? God damn.
Like when you saw, there's already T-shirts of this being being sold. So when you saw, you were like, "Oh my god!" Like, dude, like he's got a cape. Like,
Nigga, when he flew off,
as
I
soon
fucking lost it. I was like, oh my god.
as soon as he launched himself straight up from the ground, I looked over at Chris is in tears. I was like, "Yeah, this is normal."
Because it's like there's an energy to it, and I think that's what makes this movie so good is that reverence to Japanese culture. Because yes, we can laugh at the absurdity of the commercial, but it's like that's a normal commercial in Japan. That's
I,
just what it is. Like,
I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna lie to you, man, because I'm actually going to be going back to Japan soon, and I did say to myself, I at least want to be in one. If I'm not saying I got to be in like a vast amount of Japanese commercials, but can I just be in one? I just want to act in one commercial. Just let that be stamped in my own personal history that I was in a Japanese commercial.
yeah,
Is it ridiculous? Absolutely.
and I think that's the other aspect of this film too, is the fact that, like, and again, not spoiling or anything, because I think people should see it, but it's like we're seeing all different facets of what this service that he's doing, what that the
Yeah.
pros and cons, so to speak, kind of vibe.
I was gonna point out the other thing. See, it was like, even though this is like one of the major parts of the movie is him having to be play a father figure like to his family. There are he's also doing other jobs with this service. Like one in particular, he plays a reporter.
Yeah,
And he was trying to document the life story of this
superstar actor,
yeah,
by the way.
superstar
Like,
actor, like
back in the day, like,
he was
yeah,
like the guy, you know what I
the
mean?
Sony Chiba, so to speak. Hey, look, bro. Hey, there's a moment in the film where I'm like, oh, he really was that dude. Like,
I was
oh
gonna say, you
shit,
know what,
like,
just I would say, just take your pick. A Sonny Chiba, a Mifune, Mako,
yeah,
he was
he's.
that guy.
But I like that because it's showing the weight of, like, oh, this guy was that dude, and you get a little bit of a subplot of like him having dementia, but like the way in which they present his dementia, it's not in the typical, oh, we're it's done in a different way to where you're like, oh god, this is damn.
Yeah, they were sort of subtle with it. Another one that we saw where you you lit up because you saw them playing freaking Dreamcast. He goes to this guy's house, and on the surface, you would think, okay, he's being he's probably being paid to just be a good friend to this guy who's just looking for someone to play games with.
Yeah.
Oh, I scoped that entire scene, that room that they were playing in. I was like, ooh, I know this. This is a real thing in Japan. So Google it. It's was it Hikikomori? Now, Hikikomori, these are the people that are like super shut-ins, never leave their house.
Order food.
They mostly just order food, tell them to leave it by the door. They don't interact with people or nothing. They everything is like delivered to their to their house, and it's like wall to wall, like just covered in stuff. It's crazy. I've actually watched numerous videos on YouTube of like Japanese cleaning services who have to come to like they come to a person who was like either a former hikikomori or someone who had passed on who was hikikomori.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the cleanup of that, like of places like that, is unreal. The amount of treasures that you find is
pretty
crazy.
sure a lot of that happened during the fucking COVID lockdown.
Oh, this is something that's been going on. This is something.
I know it's been going on before that. Do not get the name twisted on that. I'm not dumb to that, but I have to imagine like they were in their fucking zone when everything was locked down. Like,
everything was locked down. People were just forced to either work from home, stay at home. It was crazy.
Gotta imagine. I have to ask you this. You were in Japan during the lockdown. Do you think you have been going crazy?
Not really. I personally couldn't see myself like going crazy, so to speak, because for one thing, I would enjoy the crap out of the peace and quiet, the lack of tourists. I would be able to visit
It would have been
all
that
like,
fucking empty.
dude, Kyoto almost went bankrupt because of COVID.
I mean, look, because it sounds like it would have been on some like how LA was during the lockdown, where it was like,
Yeah,
oh shit, no smog, and it's fucking just
dude, it was
empty.
no like when you're talking about a part of the country that heavily relies on tourism, the fact that people were taking day trips to Kyoto and they
Uh-huh.
were able to enjoy it in peace without it being bodies everywhere, just folks just coming in, snapping pictures and stuff. You can actually walk to all the historical sites. Sure, a lot of them were probably closed, but you can enjoy the other things
Mhm.
with, like with ease. It was like nobody around. A lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people that relied on the tourism, for financial reasons, didn't enjoy it because they were like, "Look, we need people. Yeah, I enjoy the peace and everything, but I need money flowing, so we need people back here."
I think overall, like I said at the start, I think because the movie was filmed in Japan, I think that's what makes damn a lot of the fucking shots in this movie is good because at one point they go out into the countryside and just
Hmm.
seeing just where like I even they go into there's a house that they go into and it's an old house, but like when they go in, it's like other than like overgrown bushes and stuff, the house is still there as it is.
I've been in
And I think you told me like that's a legit thing. There are like
Mhm.
tons of like abandoned houses and all that kind of stuff that exists.
Yeah. One in particular was we went all the way up to the top of a freaking mountain. Wasn't Fuji, but it was about like it was actually two places I've had this happen. Both times I shot a short film in, and it was like this really old abandoned house, much like the one in this movie.
Mhm.
And everywhere I took a step, like anytime I walked inside that place, I was like, dude, I'm terrified to take a step in here because I just feel like one loose floorboard and it's a wrap.
Like, but nah, it's just, but
But
that's,
it's real,
but it's
it's definitely
crazy to
real.
how real that is because it's just you think, oh, this is some fucking video game shit, and it's like you're like, nah, that's real. Like, I mean, and granted, I should have known that because going down the rabbit hole of YouTube and finding out that there's like abandoned schools out in the
Hmm.
fucking mountainsides and shit, and it's
Yep.
just like, oh, that's
There
a
was
real
a
thing.
dude.
I think even to what you was telling me, there's like small towns that are just abandoned and
There
people
are
just left.
there's at least 2 million abandoned homes all over the country.
That's crazy that they just don't get repurposed and stuff.
Well, they can. A lot of the times is usually like the people who live there. Once they pass away, their families don't want to deal with the inheritance tax because they
Shit.
maxing on the inheritance tax, so they can't even get the house, and so they just abandon it. And also because of Japan's declining birth rate, a lot of the older people are they're passing on and they can't leave their house to anybody. All the younger folks, they all want to move to the city, so not many people really want to go out in the countryside.
Wow. That's
So that's a thing.
that's
That's why they sell these houses for like stupid cheap.
I
A
mean,
lot of
hey,
them could require some upkeep, like some general TLC. Some of them you'd be better off just completely demolishing the house and rebuilding it, and you'll still pay a fraction of what you pay in the US.
listen, man, if I was like stupid rich, I'd be like, hey, bro, y'all want to live your weed dreams? Hey, I can help you out. I can be your huckleberry.
Look, look, man. Given
Think
given
you
the
think
current
Japan gonna fucking knock the money that can come from that?
given the current exchange rate, you probably could, sir. I would say take out. Look, you just gotta do it smart. Take out a business loan for not very much of
I'm all for. I'm
for
all
not very
for.
much money.
I'm all for. Like, hey, black folks, look. I know. We trying to get out the country, but if I were to tell you that we can have our own little place in Japan, what would you say to that?
I mean, come on, you're a fellow weeb.
It's in a weird way. Japan probably would actually be fine with it in a weird way, as long as there's money coming from it in some weird way. Kind of, because I mean, that's capitalism in a nutshell, right? Like,
It is, but there's like a number of other things that go into it because like you see those advertisements of people saying, like, oh, you can live in this house in Japan totally for free. They'll even pay you to do it. But there's like a number of
Kavit.
underlining things you got to look at that contract where you got to participate in like town hall stuff or like you got to and oh yeah, and you also got to participate in like cultural events that take place in that town. So
I
and
feel
you got to be there and you got to live there for 2 years.
that's a worthy stipulation to uphold.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I feel, look, speaking to this movie, hey, look, if I'm in another country, why not learn the culture? And I think that's another reason why I like Brendan Fraser's character because he's been there. You could tell the movie shows he's been there for a while. So it's like a lot
Yeah.
of the stuff, even to the point of the subtle moments where he goes into a place and he's like, yeah, take beer and ramen. Like he just knows off rip because it's like, oh, I do this all the time. This is the norm. And I'm like, no, that's actually like the subtle touch. It's no like he's not being the lost American, like, I don't know where to get food. Da, 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 da. It's
This
like, no,
this this
normal.
is a this is a guy who has lived there for a few years.
Yeah, the stuff with the train at the beginning aside, because hey, that just is what it is. But like he's been there for a minute, so he knows the ins and outs more or less and stuff, which I think that's what makes it work overall. And it's not just us trying to be like, I mean, obviously he's the audience focal point, but like he's more experienced
Hmm.
being there. And like I said, even for him, I like that he's learning and understanding the culture of Japan. So by the end of the movie, you're like, he finally like it clicks in his head, like, oh, I totally understand. Got you.
It's
So
like never had to do a service like this before, but I'm learning it.
yeah, I mean, look, to be fair, even though the service itself has, and I mean, the movie does a good job of illustrating some of the pros and cons of it, but like I think a lot of people could do well by doing something like that just because of just where we're as a country where people don't understand other folks' walks of life. So I think that would, in theory, I'm not saying it should happen, but like in
Hmm.
theory, I think that gives you a better understanding of people. And maybe that was the point of that rental family sort of service is to get an understanding of people,
Yep.
you know. So, but yeah, I definitely would recommend this movie big time.
Highly recommend it. It's really in my top 10 for like movie of the year,
I'm
honestly.
curious for you though. Do you see it like I'm hoping that it gets like a 8 like best like he gets nominated for best original screenplay cuz I thought the screenplay was actually pretty solid personally.
Um
I don't think it's up for any
so
awards right now, but like I'm hoping that it does.
well, they so far, I mean, outside of the positive reviews that the movie has so far, they loved Fraser's performance. The National Board of Review called it so far the top 10 movie of 2025.
Dude, it won the Middleburg Film Festival.
Dang, I didn't even know it won Middleburg. Hang on.
Yeah, it won in Middleburg,
Oh, it also won where is it? Celebration of Asia Pacific
Mhm.
Cinema and Television. The
Yep.
director the director won that award, and the director won the Chicago Film Festival. That's a good one.
Jesus.
It
So,
won
look,
Middleburg.
I don't know look, I feel the screenplay is strong enough for it to get nominated for an Oscar on that end.
Mm.
Best film, that's what's going to get difficult for me because would I put this as best film of the year? Oh, for sure.
And the
Like
director did win Breakthrough Director Award in the Virginia Film Festival.
now, I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan Fraser gets a best like actor nomination, possibly.
So best actor. So he
I know he
did.
got an Astra.
Right now, it's
He's
pending.
nominated. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
nominated. Yeah, he's nominated. But like
everything's so far he's still pending on that one. He
yeah,
did win Outstanding Achievement in Cinema Award. That's awesome.
yeah. I think it's kind of funny because apparently, like this movie, they projected it to make like 2.5 million and they made 3.3 million. So I mean,
Hey,
hate to win, man.
you really thought the movie was gonna come in
Oh,
low
it's actually
digits?
at 7.5 million as of right now. Like international,
Hmm.
like worldwide. Oh no, actually worldwide is at 8 million. I'm really hold on. What's did they even show? I don't know. If you were to roll, like they don't have the budget for this, but if you had to really take a guess at what the budget for this is like, especially with it being filmed in Japan, what would it be?
So um, it's kind of hard to say, um, especially when you consider that the director is Japanese, so I think that they were able to have a lot more wiggle room of what they could film. Uh, mm. I was honestly given the movie, like given this type of movie, it's nothing crazy. There was no visual effects or nothing like that. This was just a comedy
Straight
drama that they
yeah, comedy.
shot.
Yeah.
I would say probably maybe I don't want to say 20 million. Wasn't that crazy?
Part of me
Maybe
thinks so. Part of me thinks
probably I would say a few $1,000,000.
it feels like a few $1,000,000 because I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure they got some breaks in Japan because of the director.
Yeah, a
And
few
it's not like
$1,000,000 at most.
and Brendan Fraser is the only American technically out of that cast. Cause I know the other dude is he might be dual citizen, possibly.
You're talking about the guy who plays his
Yeah,
boss?
Takahiro.
Oh, Takahiro. No, he is. Nah, he's 100% Japanese, sir.
Yeah, he's born. Okay, well, never mind. I thought he was dual citizen. Never mind.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, shit. Damn. Yeah, Mari Yamamoto. She was the woman that was working alongside Brendan Fraser. Born in Japan, lived in London, and then came back to Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Hey, look. Oh, that's right, because she was in Tokyo Vice. Fuck.
She was. That's how I recognized her.
Yeah.
I recognized her from Tokyo
I
Vice.
totally fucking forgot she was in Tokyo Vice. I don't know why I didn't catch that. But nah, it's there. Like I said, I was in God, here's the crazy part. So Akira Yamamoto plays the old man that Brendan Fraser works alongside.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy part, he is also a very accomplished actor.
Of course he is.
Top to bottom. Like he was Eric, you're like this. Major Akira Yuki in Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
That was him.
Holy man.
That's awesome.
That is interesting. Samurai Resurrection, Zatoichi, Zebra Man. Yep. I knew his face looked familiar. I was like, yep. Yeah, he's Tetsugen 28. Yeah, he's been in a lot. Accomplished actor top to bottom, man. So hey, man.
I'm really curious. See, now that you asked me, I really want to know what was this movie's budget?
Yeah, I don't know. They ain't really showing it, but I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, for it to get the critical acclaim that it's getting, it makes sense.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it hasn't even been. They haven't even disclosed it to the public, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if what you said, probably a couple million.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll find out about it later.
Oh yeah, no, I think this is definitely a movie everybody needs to see. So, but yeah, that is it.
Yeah. Without spoiling anything, please go see this movie.
Go see it for sure. So, yeah, I think that's it. Catch you guys later. Peace.
That boy is Benny Hanna.